everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at 5 games I played so you don't have to. Now, as always with these, this is just my opinion. These are games that I did not particularly care for, but hey, everyone likes different games. So let's take a look at these different games. We're going to go through them one at a time, so let's get started. Marbleous is a game in which you're going to be rolling marbles and making chain reactions. This is very similar to many apps that you'll find on smartphones and things like that. In fact, that's exactly what this game is to some degree. Let's take a look. In this game, everyone has their own tray down here in which they're going to be rolling marbles. And you'll be doing that on your turn by picking a card here. So let's say I pick this card, which gives me 2 purples and a red. And I can roll them into my tray. I can roll them like this, like this, like this, like this. It's up to me. So let's say I roll them like this. Whee! So they roll down. Immediately, since whites are wild, I have a group of 3 purples. Boom, boom, boom. Those marbles go away. And then I look up here, 3 purple. I get 3 points. These cards come down. I put another card out here. And after a while, the better point cards start coming out. And that's it. These cards are replenished. The next person goes. You just got to remember that white marbles are wild. And if you clear everything out, you get a free white marble to put down the middle. You can then play advanced one, which gives you extra star points if you manage to do multiple colors at the same time. And I should mention that when you get a group, you have to do it. So to get a group of 5, you likely have to have something like this, where there's 2 red here, 2 red here, and I drop a red in the middle to get all 5. When you get 4 and 5, you're also going to get bonus tokens. It shows those right here. You'll start with a couple of them. You can spend these on your turn to take a marble of that color and roll it down also. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner. The problem with Marbleous is it feels so generic. Everything about it, from the name, it's like unleash a chain reaction. I mean, we already have games that have done this, board games about this, that were made years ago. What is different about this one? Well, I can tell you what's different about this one is that the points feels random. You know, if I'm building up a line of 5 purple because there's a good point card there, but someone else takes a point card, then they slide down, and I'm no longer getting those big amount of points. Why do I care anymore? The whole thing just feels very much like, I'm rolling, and rolling the marbles in it isn't even that fun. Potion Explosion already exists, has all kinds of interesting facets. The argument for this one, for Marbleous, is going to be, hey, it's 30 minutes. Anybody can play it. And I don't deny that. But why would they want to play this over an app? There's not a lot of player interaction other than the cards moving around because other people move them. And you're not really doing that to mess other people up. There's a physicality of the marbles rolling, but those ramps are pretty slight, so it's not that fun. And it just feels very, that's it. And that's such a bad thing for a game. It's called Marbleous. It sounds like a fake game that's made up for a movie, you know, like a fake ad in a movie or something like that. So I just can't recommend this. You can probably find a $2 app that does everything this game does. It's random, it's simple, and it leaves me very, very unsatisfied. So I'll give Marbleous a 5 out of 10. There's just not enough there. Bloomchasers is a pretty fat box here, and this is a game in which you're going to build a tree and put different blooms and flowers on it. It's a gorgeous look, which is why it did so well in crowdfunding. The first thing I want to show before I show how the game played is the box. And I mention this because there's a lot of wasted space. If you don't have this expansion, if you do, the expansion fits in here. But even with that, if you open up this, there's plastic here, but this tree is not particularly big. And if you take out the insert, how much of the box space it takes, the box is just entirely too big. Some branches are put on the tree randomly at the beginning with players putting one of their buds on them. But what's going to happen is there's going to be a deck of cards. It will always have 1 rain, 1 wind, and 1 sun in it, but you'll have more cards randomly shuffled into the deck, as well as bloom cards. And at the beginning of a round, players are going to have 3 different cards to pick. Well, not 3 different cards, 3 cards. They might be the same, but I'm showing you all 3. You're going to take one of these cards. You're going to draw a random bud here from the bag, another leaf, and place it on the tree, although you can see you can go higher if you'd like to. And when you're done doing that,
the card is going to tell you how you place a bud. If you do a sun, you'll put a bud on the branch that you did this turn. If you do the rain, you're going to put one of your buds next to one you already have out. So if I'm the purple player, something like that. And if you are wind, you're going to do one that's touching a different color. So if I'm pink, I might be able to put one here. Now this matters because you are trying to make the shape of your different flowers as the game goes by. And you'll notice that that bud fell off easily. That's because that happens a lot in this game. They do not stay on very easily. But let's say I have 3 purples here that are all next to each other. And the bloom card is drawn. When the bloom card is drawn, play stops. And each player can take a flower and put it onto a spot that matches. There are 3 different types of flowers. There's the 3 like this in a triangle. There's these 3 like this. And then this one here requires you to be on 2 different levels. So if, for example, this one's here, and there was a blue piece here, and you'll be able to place like that. And when you put these out, they're also going to give you bonuses in the cards in the future. So, for example, the wind, for each wildflower I plant, I can do this action twice. For each rainflower I've grown, I can do that again. For each sunflower, I can do the sun action again. We'll continue until all the different tree branches are part of the tree as you're placing them out and filling with buds and flowers. At that point, you'll reveal all the cards in the deck. And the number of cards there, the more cards there are, the fewer those kind of flowers are worth. So for example, if I have 2 sun cards at the end of the game, then those flowers are worth 4 points. But if there was 5 sun cards, then their flowers are worth 1 point each. And then whoever has the most points wins. You can also play with a little module about blight. This is a cooperative game that you're not playing with all the colors. You pick one of the colors, the purple ones, I guess, to be the blight, and you're trying to fight blight and keep that from taking over the tree.
I already mentioned the oversized box, but another problem with this game, and this is a big problem, those blooms and those flowers, they're finicky, they fall off all the time. And this isn't just a me thing. I've read about other people doing it, and each people I played with, and I'm talking about even my kids who have nice fingers and steady little fingers that can slide in there. They were having a hard time with this and seeing how everything fit in. That's an issue, and I feel like that detracts from the game a bit. Beyond that, there's a bigger issue. And I didn't go over this in the rules overview because I wanted to talk about it right here because this is a huge issue in the game. When you make a thing of the 3 flowers, and by the way, the flower thing that's on 2 levels, very hard to visualize that, but that's a different point. But you're placing the flowers out when you have 3 things next to it. However, the rules also allow you, if I have 2 purples next to a white, I can steal that white by putting the flower on top of that. Ooh, interaction. I stole one of yours. Here's the problem, though, and this is a big problem for me. That bloom card comes up on someone's turn randomly from the deck. And when it's on your turn, whoever's card it is gets to go first. So if I have 2 purples next to 2 whites, whoever the card draws up gets to place it and cover up the other person's flower, effectively stealing a turn from you, and because you lost putting that bloom out, and adding an extra turn for themselves. It's a huge swing shift. Not only that, once that flower's out, you now have more. When you play the card, you get more points. So it's a rich get richer type situation. I really dislike that. Everyone complained about it because it feels mean to cover someone else up. And you can say, well, don't put your stuff next to mine. Well, literally one of the cards tells you to do that. But you put stuff next to other people's. You have to sometimes as you're putting the buds out there. And you're like, ooh, I'm going to cover you up. Well, I'm going to cover you up. The random fates will decide who covers who up. And it just is so unsatisfying. That mixed with the points at the end of the game, the points are how many cards in the deck there are of each one. So you're sitting there counting them out maybe like, okay, I think I saw only 2 of the wind cards, so I guess those are better to build. But I also have to set those up, and it's just a really unsatisfying game. The cooperative game, didn't like that at all either. I played both, so neither one worked for me. And maybe the expansion stuff help a little bit, but none of that also helps the fact that the actual physicality of the game is a problem. This game is just messy. I want to like it. I like the idea of building a tree up and putting these buds and flowers on. That's cool. But functionally it has problems, and mechanically the game has problems. I give this a 5 out of 10. I didn't like it. Hey, Play 5. This is a game that mixes poker. It says combines poker and a crossword puzzle. What they really meant was it combines poker and Scrabble, but they didn't want to put Scrabble on the cover because they don't want to get in trouble. But that's what they mean. This is Poker Scrabble. That's probably enough review for you, but just in case, here we go.
In this game, players are going to get a handful of 5 tiles drawn from a bag, which are the different, cards in a poker, including the jokers. And what you'll do is you got to place 2 or more tiles on your turn to make one of the allowed poker hands. So see here, for example, these are the allowed poker hands: royal flush, straight flush, 4 of a kind, full house, flush, straight, 3 of a kind, 2 pair, and pair. So I played a pair. So a pair is any 2 tiles of the same index, counts 1 times that amount. So here I have, they're both count as 11s, so I have 22 points. Now you can extend if you want to. So the 7s here could be placed like this. And this will give me 2 times the tiles scored, but I'm only going to score, it's a full house here, which is only which is 2 times. So it'll be 2 times 21, 42, but also 2 times this tile score. So I get another 7 points there, or 14 more points there. 5 is the most a tile can have. At this point, you need to start building off of the tiles. Like here, I might be building a straight flush, 7, 8, 9. And it's just like Scrabble. As you place on these, some are for hands, some are for tiles. But you can't go past 5, and everything that you put next to each other, like this could go here because this is a pair, and both of these could be straights. In fact, I could even put this here, another 8 like this. But I couldn't put a king here because I can't go past 6. I couldn't put a king here because that king doesn't work with the 8s. Again, this is very similar to the word scoring in Scrabble. There's also a fairly complex, well, to me anyway, way of where you can ante and wager. You don't have to play this way on the words that are played. If you can't play a word from the tiles in your hand, you can discard 3 and draw 3 more from the bag. And you'll keep going till the tiles are gone, and whoever has the most points is the winner.
Who's this game for? The point of Scrabble isn't about placing the tiles on the board. It's about making the words. That's the fun part of Scrabble. And that's why I don't love it, but I get that's why people like doing it. The thing about poker is bluffing. Neither one of those here combines in a very good way at all. This combination just doesn't work, especially with rules that you can only have 5. Frankly, this game rewards people who draw better than others. That's all there is to it. You draw better, you'll play better. And it's a slow start as you're trying to build out, and I can't build on that. You have, there's 3 7s and 2 aces. Well, I don't have either of those. I have an 8, but I don't have a 9, so I can't even play in this direction. 4 of a kind's amazing, but you only score for the tiles you play in your turn, so I need to wait till I have 4 of a kind on my tile of 5. I find this game is a big mess for me. It's a mess. I don't understand the reasoning behind it. Scrabble with other things can work. There's a very popular game called Quirkle, which is Scrabble in colors and shapes, and it works amazingly well. There's Sushi Go, which is Scrabble and food. But Scrabble and poker is a mismatch. Not everything needs to be combined. I just realized it does say Scrabble on the back with an all rights reserved symbol. But I don't like this one. Play 5. I give this one a 4 out of 10. Trollympics has a designer that I enjoy quite a bit, Bruno Feduti. The other designer, Camille Matau, is a game in which you are taking some fantasy races and sending them to the Olympics. It includes one of my favorite mechanisms, drafting. It also includes some really funky art in here. David Hartman. Now let's take a look.
In this game, players are going to be competing in different events to get gold and silver medals, and they're also going to bet on who they think will win. And if they get those betting tokens correctly, they'll get points. Gold medals are 2 or 3, depending on whether it's winter or summer, and silvers are 2 or 1, depending on the same thing. Each round, you'll show a bunch of events. These are some summer events that are going to happen. But here's the deal. After I show, these are winter events, I'm sorry, they happen first. After you show these winter events, you're going to take them, shuffle them, get rid of one of them, and add another one in, so everyone will know 2 of the 3 events. Each round, before the round starts, players are going to get a handful of cards here, and you're going to be drafting both different races here: trolls, orcs, elves, goblins, vampires, and or action cards in your hand. You'll take a couple cards, pass them around the table so everyone has a handful of cards. Then an event's revealed. And so this event will tell you how many athletes. In this case, it is a single athlete here. Each player can pick cards from their hand to send out. Everyone has a blank card in case you don't want to send someone out. You can send out multiple teams. I might say, I'm going to send out an orc and I'm going to send out an elf. They're two different teams. This shows you the base value of each of the different people you send out. So vampires are 4 plus a die roll. Goblins are 2 dice. That's their special ability. That's a pretty terrible roll, and so on and so forth. Sometimes an event will have different people who can't be involved. No vampires, no orcs. Some need a team of 2 athletes, one large size, one large small. There's just 2 athletes of different species, 2 of the same species, etc. There are different special abilities for the different species that you will send out there. So, for example, a ghost acts as one of your other athletes. A golem doesn't work unless you have a mage to activate it. A giant can only be 1. If there's more than 1 giant, then they all sort of fight and one's gone. And a vampire, you can just say, we're out of this, and pull them back in your hand after you see everyone else's. You're also all going to play a special card or a blank. And when you play these cards, all kinds of things can happen. Turning trolls into a value 1. Turning one of your guys into a giant. Everyone else's who roll 6 or discard it. Female athletes quit in protest. Reveal 5 cards that can be added to parties. All species can come. The winner of the event loses it instead. Reroll a die up to 2 times. Dwarves get +3. A female lures a male athlete if the same species over. All size L are discarded. And these are just some of the very many different events. You then will roll, add these values. Whoever has the highest amount wins. And then if players have bet on the right team, and you can bet on yourself, they're going to get a betting token. And that's pretty much it. You're going to go through the summer events, or winter events, then you'll go through the summer events, and all sorts of things can happen at each of the events, and whoever has the most points at the end is the winner.
Holy cow, this game is so bad. And yet it has the possibility. So there's some reasons that this game is bad, I think, but the number one reason is the action cards. You can draft, okay, and so I guess the argument for the action cards is, hey, you're drafting, you see all the stuff that's out there, but you don't, because you don't see the cards that people took before that hand ever got to you. And there's nothing more like you play some trolls and someone's like, bam, your trolls are garbage this round. Or, oh, I used a seductress and stole yours. Or they have the man stealing the woman one too. Or, stealing a card. And there's so much take that and then you roll dice. This is random, the randomness game. You have no idea. There's 3 cards, but you don't know which card's going to come. The card comes up. You're like, I'll play these 2. Oh, I rolled 2 1s. Okay, you rolled a 6 with your 1. Hooray, you win. This game feels completely random through and through. And then they threw in take that action cards on top of it. Everyone I played this with has loathed it. Not disliked it, but loathed it. And I'm in that group. I don't get what this game is doing. It's the idea is fun. Like, I like the idea of, okay, you need a wizard to activate a golem. There can only be 1 giant. But when you're only playing 1 or 2 cards into a mix, you can play multiple teams and stuff. But again, it's just rolling dice and random. It's so frustrating, this game. I just cannot recommend it at all. So Trollympics is a 3 from me. Dice Words is a very popular game that just came out, and it's because this game looks gorgeous. This is a game in which you're going to roll dice like Yahtzee to get words. Here's how it plays.
As you can see, the components are quite nice. Everyone's going to get a plastic cup, a bunch of dice of their color. But these are the dice, the ice cube dice, that are going to get rolled before each round. And you'll put them in this ice cube tray. Mostly, I think that's the whole reason this game was made. So the tray doesn't really matter. And then each person, so let's pretend I'm the red player, you're going to roll dice. There's a timer to keep sure that everyone's moving. But I'm going to try to make a word here, and utilizing some of these letters if I can. Well, I could make hay. That's not that good of a word here. Let's re-roll everything. There we go. I got an L. TH, Thad, Thode. Let's re-roll everything here. You get 2 re-rolls that you're going to get. So once you have the re-rolls, you're then going to make a word. Now you're going to make the word here, because if you make the word and it gets to 5, 6, or 7 letters, you're going to get 5, 10, and 25 points. Other than that, you are trying to use the letters that are here if you roll them. So for example, let's say I make the word list, L-I-S-T. So I'm going to count the points on these, which are Scrabble pointy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. And then I use 2 letters here. So 6 times 2 is 12. I would also get these added on afterwards. But if I use the word that had none of these letters, it would be multiplied by 0, so I'd get no points. So if you don't get any of the letters of these when you're re-rolling, then the only way to get points is by making a long word. There are other ways to play. You can play with the easier side of the board here. You can play where whoever gets the lowest score gets an extra die per round. And there's other things, the number of rounds you can play. You'll write down the words and how many points you get. Although I really recommend not using these score sheets, since you have to use 1 per player to keep track of everything. But that's how you play.
This is very possibly a game in which my opinion of it is going to resonate very differently from everyone else. When I have a word game, I play these games with my wife. I love games. She loves making words. You know what she does not like doing? Rolling the dice 3 times, trying to match one of those words in that ice cube tray and not getting it. And every game of this I have played, that has happened to somebody every turn, where they have rolled the dice and not rolled any of those letters. You say, not a problem. On your turn then, make a long word and get some bonus points. But if I make a 3-letter word, that's 6 points, and all 3 of those letters are out there, that's 18 points I just got. And it's such a weird oddity there. I feel like whoever designed this started with the ice cubes and was like, that's cool. Dice look like ice cubes in trays. But I don't get it. It's not that interesting. To roll and re-roll is a ton of luck as it is. But then to match those letters to get points is even more. This isn't who's smarter at making words. This is who's luckier at rolling dice. It's gorgeous. And I ding it a point for that, because this game is going to pull people in with a lure and say, come and play me. I look so preciously good. And it's just not. Our family likes word games. We despise this one. It's beautiful, but it's a trap. It's a 3 out of 10. Not a big fan. All right, folks. Well, like I said at the beginning, I did not like these games, but you might. So tell us in the comments if you do. Let people know, because, hey, we should hear all sides of the story. But anyway, until next time, I'm Tom Vasel. These are 5 games I played so you don't have to on the Dice Tower. See you next time.
Hey folks, thanks for watching another one of our videos. If you like our videos, if you like our channel, you would love to game with us at one of our conventions. Check out Dice Tower Cruise, Dice Tower East, and Dice Tower West. Fantastic conventions where we play games with wonderful people, a humongous library, and lots of other events and stuff. Also, don't forget to check out our channel, like and subscribe. I'm Tom Vasel.